Hey guys, it's Sean again, here for my fourth episode, and I'm going to talk a little more in detail about me specifically, my struggles with PTSD, and some things that have been successful with me, some things I've tried to help me cope with not just PTSD, but reintegrating back into the civilian world. So I don't know if you saw it back in my first episode. Talked about a lot of the things that I struggled with, and most vets struggled with: anger issues and attention to detail, driving, that kind of thing. But again, I kind of want to more dial in, tighten up the shot group, as it were, on this video, and talk about, like I said, things that I've dealt with and realized that things that do work for me don't work for me. Again, I just want to put out a disclaimer that while I am a 22-year medic, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, medical doctor. So I'm not officially recommending any medications I talk about in this video or treatments. They're highly specific to the individual. What one antidepressant, for example, may work for one person, but may not work for everybody else, or certainly will not work for everybody else. One treatment plan is certainly not going to work for everybody. So I'm just kind of offering examples of what I've used or tried to try and help you guys dial in, or maybe give you guys some ideas of avenues to use. So the first thing that I will recommend wholeheartedly is the VA. I know in the past we've all heard horror stories about the Veterans Administration, and issues with getting in to see a provider, getting treatments, surgeries, so on and so forth. We've all heard the horror stories about how difficult it is to be treated by the VA. Personally, I haven't had any issues with the VA. From the first time when I initially got out and moved up to Washington State, the VA I saw up there just outside of Fort Lewis actually was amazing. My first day I went in and had my intake interview. Um, that day I got my photograph ID. Um, I was seen by a provider who initially did my intake interview. I told him I was going into the reserves. He was able to immediately get me a temporary profile, because I already had physical issues with my knees and my back. He was already able to hook me up with that. I met my provider, my assigned provider, that day. Talked to her for about 45 minutes, almost an hour. Then was immediately shown to mental health, because that was one of the issues that came up. Talked to their psychologist or psychiatrist, I can't remember. He told me about the various programs they had, including um, uh, anger management and meditation classes that they had every Friday. Just kind of walk in. You didn't need an appointment. And then before I even knew it, within a week and a half, I received some antidepressants in the mail. Just bam, all that within the first day. I was given all that. Now I didn't start taking the antidepressants. I will say this, because I wasn't familiar with the drug, either professionally or personally or through friends. And one of the side effects was depression. And unfortunately, that's a side effect you might hear with a lot of antidepressants. But I'll get to antidepressants later. Having said that, getting back to my original point, my first intake interview was amazing. I was able to meet all the initial folks I should have met. They introduced me to other people that I could meet or might need to meet later on, and they were able to, within minutes, speak to me and listen to, not only that, but listen to me and what my issues were or might have been. and recommend treatment plans or possible courses of action, like I said, like the regular Friday meditation and anger management classes. So, and then even when I moved here to South Carolina, the VA here in the town I live in is pretty small, but I live pretty close to Augusta, Georgia, and their VA is huge. And I really haven't reached out to the mental health side on that yet. But again, I'll get back to that later. So, but still, it's been an amazingly refreshing and welcoming process getting hooked in with this VA here. So please use the VA. I mean, it's there, it's free. If you've spent any time active duty, and then I don't know what the process is. If all you've done is reserve time, maybe once you ETS, you're automatically. I'm not sure, but the VA is amazing. It's there, it's free. Um, you might have to spend $6 or $7 for a prescription here or there, but that's tops. I mean, and that's nothing, and it counts as your your health insurance for government purposes, job purposes. That counts as your health insurance if you're actively seen by the VA. So that's another benefit of being seen by the VA, unless something has changed since last I heard. So please, again, don't take anything I say take for granted or legal. Do your own research, but like I said, the VA is an amazing resource. And if you don't like anything that they send you to, any outside providers, I've been resourced out to pain management, civilian management clinic for my shoulders, and that was free. So I mean, if they can't help you, they will refer you to civilian agencies that possibly can help you. So it's a huge asset in it, and like I said, it's free. Why not use it? So getting into the mental health aspect, um, this was a big sticking point for me was talking about my experiences, and not so much my experiences, but what I was feeling and why I was feeling the way I was feeling and everything. I've always recommended it because I'm a medic. I tell people, hey, if your knee hurts, go see a doctor, go to the hospital, whatever. It's a no-brainer. If I got a toothache, I'm gonna go see a dentist, right? Fucking stupid of you if you don't. So why not on the mental health side? It's no different. Absolutely no different. If your knee hurts, go see a doc. If your brain hurts, go see a psychologist, psychiatrist, seek somebody for help, right? Um, well, so like I said, my first VA hospital up in Washington, when I initially met the mental health guy, he told me about regular classes they had on every Friday, and it was an open class. You didn't need an appointment for, and they kind of focused on anger management and also meditation. So I went to a few of those, and they were really different than what I was expecting. They didn't focus on just one aspect of what one person might be feeling because of one deployment. It was very broad. Um, how to deal with anger. They kind of a lot of their focus was on road rage, like I talked about in my first video. You expect everyone to get the hell out of your way, and you get mad when they're doing 43 in a 45 zone and stuff like that. But the other one was meditation, and they played a disc and even gave everybody a disc that they could listen to on their own. And it was just I don't know if the term MSR existed back then, and it was not like it was as long ago. This is 2014, 2015, but it wasn't huge back then. But it was basically a guy talking to you. Your arms are getting heavy, your legs are getting heavy, your chest is getting heavy, that kind of thing, and it was kind of getting you to get a kind of get rid of all this external noise of life and just kind of focus in on your breathing. If any of you have done any kind of Zen Buddhism, heavy breathe, deep breathing exercises, that kind of thing, it's kind of like where this was going, and it was really cool. It did work for me. That a couple times when I was in the clinic doing it. But again, they gave me a disc and said, "Oh yeah, hey, this is something you can do every day or twice a day or 16 times a day, as long as this CD doesn't burn out on your own at home." And of course, I took it home and didn't do it. But that was on me, and that kind of leads to my next thing. When I moved here to South Carolina, it took me a while to get back into trying to getting up the bravery to see mental health again. And after the first couple appointments, she basically kind of dialed in and said, "You have avoidance issues." That was one of the big things, as well as all the other stuff, being hypersensitive to noise and bright lights and, just basic hypersensitivity to situational awareness, looking for snipers on rooftops, that kind of shit that a lot of us have. She said I have avoidance issues, and I said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." But hence, here I am. I'm not 10 years deep into therapy. I'm barely scratching the surface. Yeah, obviously I have avoidance issues. That makes sense. I might talk about some cool stories or funny stories that happened back in Iraq or Afghanistan, but I never talk about the serious stuff. And so one of the treatment plans that we had kind of agreed upon that kind of made sense at the time, turns out she gave me homework for. And I didn't graduate college. I tried. But if I was a big homework guy, one, my high school grades would have been a hell of a lot better. Two, I would have graduated college from the Citadel. I went 2 years. And three, I'd be looking at full bird colonel here in the next few months. So, not a big homework guy. Again, but the irony is that it goes right back to the avoidance issues. She gave me this homework, this couple of things, like 6 answers or 6 questions to answer, and wanted me to write a short paper, but I mean like, a few paragraphs. But if I really wanted to talk about that shit or write about it, I wouldn't be in the position I am in now. So it's kind of a catch-22. But again, that's on me. But the takeaway from that is, if you do see psychologist or psychiatrist or just a mental health technician or whatever, it takes work, guys. It takes fucking work. Okay, on your part, not on anybody else's part. On your part. Uh, and that's my bad that I haven't followed back up with that because of COVID. The first meeting I had with her was in person, but then COVID hit, and so I wasn't able to meet with her in person. It was all virtual. So I also use that as an excuse because I have, hey, guess what? Avoidance issues, right? Um, but it takes work. That's the bottom line. No one's going to cure you after talking with you for 5 minutes and going, hey, here's where I deployed 3 times, and um, here's where I were and during what years, and you figure this shit out. I don't know. No, you have to actually talk to them and do the work. If they give you homework, if they give you assignments, if they give you exercises to do, if they give you a journal that you have to write out. Yes, it sounds like a pain in the ass, and I can't be bothered. I don't want to do it. I'd rather be doing other shit. I'd much rather watch a movie than have to write in a fucking journal about my feelings for the fucking day. Guess what? If this is the route you want to go, or one of the routes you want to go, It takes some work on your fucking part. So get off your lazy ass and do the fucking work. And I'm saying this in the full knowledge that I still have yet to get back on the horse and do the fucking work. I plan to, and I really want to, because I don't want to be this angry asshole that's mad at the world and short tempered, and every tiny little thing pisses him off. Uh, you know, when I'm 70, 80, I don't want to be that guy that's all alone in some hospital bed dying. All right, you fucking kids, get off my lawn. I don't want to be that angry guy, right? I want to have people around me. I used to think, anger humor has always been the funniest to me. Bill Burr is like my fucking hero in the comedy world. He's the goat. But even lately, the last couple of years, he's like, hey, I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, sometimes it might be funny to be that angry dude, and back in the day when I first made E5, and I was that terrible terror that everyone was kind of afraid of, but still approachable. I try to draw the line between being fucking angry, God damn it, what the fuck are you doing? But I had a short temper. Oh, I had a quick temper, but a short memory. So I might jump down your throat sideways with a chainsaw, but 10 minutes later, we're like, hey, let's go get lunch. Um, so I try to temper it, but to this day, it's still it's still a part of me, because that's kind of the army I grew up in. Is those are the best NCOs? Is that if you pissed them off, God help you. Mount Vesuvius blown up, but they had short memories. If you fucked up once, God help you. But after that, as long as you stayed on the straight and narrow, um, you proved yourself like, hey, it was just an act, it was just a fuck up, whatever, growing pains, whatever the case may be. Cool. They take you and they still mentor you and teach you and coach you. But so that's kind of how I grew up. Quick to show anger, but just as quick to forgive and teach and mentor and lead to the right way. These days, even that quick is not a good thing. Just the whole mentality has changed, not just in military world, civilian world too. Um, so back to medications. Um, I did talk to a few months ago. I was talking to my VA doc, and he asked me about antidepressants. Um, I've had plenty of battle buddies that took antidepressants even when they were active duty, and many more since they've left active duty. And I've always heard we've all heard a mixed bag. We've heard success stories and dudes that tried you know 8 9 different drugs and to little success to the opposite of little success, like it made them even worse, and then all the way up to some success or moderate success and everything in between. So antidepressants were always a last resort for me. I've never been part of that Prozac nation. Big pharma wants to push meds down your throat. So I think for a lot of folks, myself included, for the longest time, were put off by medications, at least as far as antidepressants were concerned. Of course, again, being a medic, I'm always pushing medications. Anti-inflammatories, obviously. Vitamin M is a big one. Tylenol, aspirin, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of a no-brainer. But when it came to antidepressants, it was, well, this is a whole new ballpark. Do I really need antidepressants? Or is this just a way for big pharma to score some money off of me feeling sad? Well, I will tell you, my VA doc did talk to me about one medication called Wellbutrin, or bupropion. Um, it's kind of a common antidepressant. It's used for other uses, or prescribed for other uses. including binge eating disorders, ADHD, weight loss, that kind of thing. Um, so that's kind of one that he he kind of described, and I kind of zeroed in on that. Well, it's got not only the antidepressant uses, but it's also got these other uses because I'm trying to lose weight because I've gotten fat since been a lazy civilian, and have arthritis in my spine, knees, and shoulders. So it's hard to stay as active as I was, and because I'm getting older, I'm 47 now. It's you have to work twice as hard to lose half the weight. So it's been really tough. Wellbutrin is one that kind of called to me initially, and I'm currently on that. It's 100 milligrams twice a day, at least the dose I'm on. And my biggest uh, hurdle to taking Wellbutrin is getting in a habit of taking a medication not only every day but twice a day. So most days I manage to take my morning dose. A lot of times I forget to take the evening dose because one of the side effects is if you take it too late in the evening, it can cause insomnia. Again, this is not everybody. That's one of the possible side effects. Um, but for the first few weeks, for the first month, when it was still fresh in my mind that I was on this new medication, yeah, I was taking it twice a day. Um, and after the first few weeks, I was noticing a huge difference in my outset, my mentality, my mindset. I wasn't getting as snappy with people for asking what I, at the time thought were silly questions. If my mom and I are watching a movie together and she goes, "Wait, what does that guy say?" And I'm like, "Jesus Christ, can you not fucking hear the?" Well, she's 75. Yeah, she's she's got hearing issues. She wears hearing aids. Maybe she didn't get every single word in the sentence that dude said. Why the hell am I snapping at her? But once I started taking the Wellbutrin, I noticed a big difference in how I reacted to her. And again, that's just one example. My The instances of me screaming at my windshield during driving around here dropped drastically. I still have issues. Obviously, it's not a cure-all, or hasn't been so far. But I have noticed positive changes since I started taking the Wellbutrin. Obviously, I started this YouTube channel. I might not have done this, at this time if I'd never started the Wellbutrin. Who knows? So that also might be a course for you guys as antidepressants. Again, no, there's no one treatment plan that's perfect for everybody. There's no one medication that's perfect for everybody. Even the same medication, Wellbutrin, if you try it, you might need to take it only once a day. You might need to take it 3 times a day. Uh, Again, if you do decide on the medication course, the antidepressant course, uh, go into it go into it knowing that you need to have patience. The first drug you try may not always be the drug for you. It may make things worse. So you may need to either adjust the dosage or change drugs completely. And then that second drug may not be perfect for you. I've known guys that tried 4 different medications, and then even within each medication, they tried a couple different dosages before their doctor was able to dial them in on the right medication and the right dosage for them. It was eventually able to help them. So it's a slow process. Can be also fast. Like I said, Wellbutrin I've had good success with. First drug I ever tried. So again, just go into it knowing it can be a process. Um, Another method is a thing you can do is obviously talk to battle buddies, talk to dudes you deployed with. If you don't have that, or maybe another thing is if you have any family members that are veterans, especially combat veterans, talk to them. If you're cool with them and feel like talking to them. Not every member of my family I feel comfortable talking to about my experiences. My brother is pretty much the only one I'm comfortable with talking some real shit. Um, Even though I know my mom and dad would intellectually know that they would be cool with some stories or things I have to talk about, or worries or concerns I have. Um, One of the things that a lot of folks have an issue with talking to other people is how they would react to you. If hey, I shot this dude in this situation, or reacted this way during this situation, you might think that that person's going to think less of you. Uh, so again, that's highly, highly personal. That's way above and beyond the medications or talking to psychiatrists or psychologists or mental health techs or even your doctor, your provider. At least with those folks, they're they're pretty much strangers, and at the end of the day, it's their job to care. Whereas your family or friends, they don't have a job to care for you. That's all on them how they react to that. So I would say feel them out, figure out who in that group is best suited to listen to your stories, and not just your stories, but how you feel. Hey, here's the issues I'm having. Hey, if you see me getting too angry about this thing, just grab my arm and say, hey, pump the brakes, kid, calm down, right? You're in a safe place, or whatever the case may be. So this one's a little more specific, a lot more specific, actually, I would say, to the individual. If you have any, friends or family members that it always helps if they're vets, and kind of jumping back to the mental health workers. Um, I always found that that's also kind of now become one of my criteria for mental health workers is I really want them to be a combat vet. I don't want to be talking to somebody that goes, "Oh, wow. Oh, you experienced that. Okay, wow. Yeah, wow. Wow." I want somebody who's been there or at least treated, well, a lot of from the VA, they've treated combat vets, but personally, I want one that's been there, done that, at least deployed. If not, I don't say I gotta say, hey, show me your bullet scars or show me your combat patch or your combat medic badge or whatever. Show me a video of you being in a firefight. I don't want to go that far, but I still want one that's been to combat or in a combat zone and experienced similar things to what I've gone through. So for me, that was also a big stumbling block is finding a mental health professional to talk to is finding one with combat experience or at least combat deployment experience. Um, so I've been rambling on for a while now. So what's the takeaway from all this? Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Get some help from someone. You're never gonna figure all this shit out on your own. I guarantee you. Alcohol is great in the short term, but it's never the long term answer. Oftentimes, not even a short term answer. We all want to just turn to the bottle. A lot of us do, or whatever your drug of choice is. If you're not in the military anymore, but I'm telling you, it's not the answer. I tried. I've looked at many, 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 many bottles of Jameson at the very bottom of the bottle. There's no answer there. Okay. The answer is in a lot of places, or pieces of the answer are in a lot of places, but I guarantee you it's not in the bottom of a scotch bottle or a whiskey bottle. Talk to somebody. Like I said, doesn't matter if it's a friend, family member, battle buddy, medical professional. Um, Talk to someone. Look at your different avenues. Like I said, the local VA in the town I live in, it's a very small VA, so I know they don't have anything like the the meditation or anger management classes, but the one in Georgia is huge, and I guarantee you they do. I just haven't yet talked to them, but I guarantee you I'd be willing to bet if I said, "Hey, I'm looking for some meditation or anger management classes," I guarantee you the VA could either supply them or recommend me to, or refer me to somebody that does have those kind of services. So figure out what's best for you, and don't be afraid to try something new. That's the other big thing. Don't be afraid to try something that you're not familiar with, or you think that won't work. Try something. My brother years ago was in a situation where he needed something like that, and he tried everything from um, Buddhist monks, like no shit, Buddhist monks, Indian smoke tents, sweat lodges. He tried literally everything, and a lot of it did work. Some of it didn't work. But I mean, don't limit yourself to conventional medicine, or especially just, well, I can deal with this. I can make the adjustment. I'm tough. Please don't do that. Um, Find somebody, even if you got to just send me a message here on YouTube. Um, Find someone to talk to. Okay, so that's it. I'll get off my soapbox today. Hopefully, this has been helpful. Honestly, if this is helpful to one person, um, that's mission accomplished, right? And if none of this is news to you, maybe this will be news to somebody else that you know. Maybe refer them to this video or talk to them about some of the stuff I've talked to. Um, don't be a stranger to your battle buddy. This other thing, help the guy to your right and left. So again, hope this has been helpful. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.